Right, the Clásico finish, so it's time to go home. Let me show you Barcelona this time of the night. See, not much happening. It's been a quiet evening. People expected protests and all kinds. There were certainly a lot of people around the Camp Nou making their voice heard. At some point as well, during the game, they threw like beach balls onto the pitch, but that was about it. Yeah, I think people wanted to see a football game, and an interrupted football game at that. And what they saw was two teams that more often than not thought of not losing this game, not so much of winning it. Lots of proof for it, for this way of thinking about this game. One, there was a counter-attack in the second half where Casemiro stole the ball, started running with it and driving with it, delivered it, and then just stopped and let the Real Madrid players, not many of them, 3 of them at that point, to finish the quick transition. Second half, you didn't see Carvajal going forward that much, you didn't see Jordi Alba going forward that much. Even Bale had to look after the runs of Jordi Alba, so they cancelled each other out. That's certainly what happened. So it was different periods in the game. In the first half, it was two teams trying to set up in a very clear way and kind of deciding in those first 45 minutes, let's see if we're superior than you in the way we're doing things. So it was a Real Madrid, the pressure high, not with a high intensity, but pressured high, making life difficult to Barcelona. But Barcelona found solutions to that, especially with this low pass to Luis Suarez, from Ter Stegen to Luis Suarez. That saved that pressure sometimes and beat that pressure sometimes. That was one way of doing it. A lot of the time when Barcelona tried to build from the back, the thing, as I said, Real Madrid wasn't very intense, but what they did was stopping them turning around with the ball. Because when they do, and when they're facing the goal, they're very dangerous, Barcelona. So let's cross. So there was a few instances in which that happened. How was Real Madrid's plan? Well, if they had stolen the ball from Barcelona, which they did sometimes, the idea was to put a cross into the box as often as possible. They did it about 10 times in the first half, 10 crosses in. And there were a couple of instances, a couple of chances in which I think it was Sergio Ramos and Piqué had to clear off the line. And that was the first half. Interesting, with clear patterns. That's always good for when you're doing a game, as we were doing in La Liga TV. You can see what's happening quite clearly. Not much down to accident. And then the second half, Real Madrid came off the blocks much better than Barcelona. The pressure high was still there. Not very intense, but it was 1v1 against all the players from Barcelona. So Barcelona had to find a free man, and they couldn't find him. Real Madrid adjusted that pass from Ter Stegen to Luis Suarez, so that didn't happen so much. And then, because you had a lot of players running a lot after the ball, mostly, because when Real Madrid had the ball, kept it for long periods there. Isco was very good linking up the midfield and the attack, but not very incisive. It was actually a couple of runs from Mendy on the left-hand side, a couple of runs from Carvajal, as I said, in the first half, not so much in the second. There was a lot of possession, but no incisiveness. They tried to find Bale in diagonals to him, trying to run in behind of Alba, but as I said in the second half here, Alba adjusted that, stopped going forward. That's it, no space there. And Bale was worried as well about Jordi Alba going forward, as he had done a couple of times in the first half, so he stopped doing that, of actually running forward and not defending so much. So there was all that. As I said, in the second half, Real Madrid started better. But then there was a period of, I counted it, from minute 67 to minute 75, in which both teams opened up. And as I said, the midfielders were tired, especially the midfield of Barcelona that has got a difficulty to maintain the high tempo and the intensity and all that, especially if Rakitic and Sergi Roberto are present. So in that period, a couple of chances in each goal, but after that it was like, all right, let's leave it. Let's just get a draw. And for the last, since minute 75, that was it. There was not much game happening after that. A couple of things from the game which you may be interested in. One, the Busquets situation. There's going to be all rumours in the next few hours why he didn't play. First of all, the first we heard was from the assistant, John Astiazu, the assistant of Valverde, who was saying that actually it was a technical decision. Then we heard from the entourage of Busquets that said, no, actually he had the flu and had temperature the night before. And there was a change in the lineup that Barcelona provided through Twitter, social media, and to the journalists at the stadium, which had Busquets in and Rakitic on the bench. Now the rumor is that, or what Real Madrid are complaining to some journalists, is that actually Barcelona changed the lineup when they realized how Real Madrid were playing with Isco in the side. So Busquets was out, Rakitic back in, with Sergi Roberto as midfielder and Semedo as right back. We'll probably never know, or no, not in the next few hours, what exactly happened. That probably Barcelona and Valverde after the game said that yes, Busquets was not well, but he was on the bench. So I think there's something you need to know about Busquets, and that is that basically Barcelona have decided, Valverde have decided, that this year Rakitic and Busquets had to play less because they need a much more dynamic midfield, one that can match the intensity of Liverpool, Manchester City, Chelsea, especially the Premier League teams. But you can also say the PSG, Roma, as he showed them a couple of years back. Those kind of games, those kind of teams. And that means introducing new midfielders that can make the kind of runs that you have to do as a midfielder often enough to keep up the intensity with and without the ball. So I think we didn't have Busquets against Athletic Bilbao, I think against Levante, a couple of games more, and that is where Barcelona is directing themselves. I don't think you replace though Busquets with Rakitic, because Rakitic, as holding midfielder, that's what he'll do most of the time, holding in behind the offensive midfielders. When Busquets, sometimes he triggers the high pressure, doesn't it? He just goes forward and pushes everybody to go forward, and that's what Barcelona want to do, to be able to make not huge efforts, physical efforts, but keep all that energy for the last third. You recover the ball, as soon as you lose it, you try to recover it, and then of course when you recover it, the other team is distructured, and it's an opportunity to do damage in short spaces instead of box to box. But that was not the decision. The decision was to play with Rakitic. For whatever reason, Busquets was on the bench, and they went for a 4-4-2 defensive formation. That's how they defended, in a kind of medium block, waiting for, or happy even, to have Real Madrid dominating, and that's driving everybody mental in Barcelona. Commentators, media, fans, they don't want to see that kind of Barcelona, but Valverde is using what he has, and what he has is this kind of Barcelona that sometimes has to allow the likes of Madrid or Real Sociedad last week to dominate. So it wasn't a great Clásico. It was a typical Clásico of the middle of the season. Everybody knows the limitations, and I think that's what is at the forefront of their thinking. They know the limitations, so it's all about making sure that they don't get found out. That was what this Clásico was about. When that happens, 0-0 or a draw tends to be the common result. Anyway, there's still one weekend to go of La Liga before the break, so there will be top 5 after that, and now I'm just gonna have a wee beer. Bye.